I'm going to present this headline as a question. Call of Duty World War II?
I saw that floating around.
Supposedly, yeah. So supposedly that's another leak of another Activision Blizzard game that supposedly has taken place over the last week. But like, there are photos of supposed promotional materials out there, so they could be real. But like, it's so
some like key art, like logo type stuff.
But all this stuff has been so like thinly corroborated that I don't know. We can't say with any confidence that this stuff is real.
What was the last Call of Duty? World War was the last?
World War II one was World at War, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
1, 2, World at War,
and the 09.
No, the World at War was after 4.
Yeah.
Right.
It was basically Call of Duty 5.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. In the World War II,
that was when they were still hedging their bets that modern military wouldn't work, and they would still need to go back to World War II.
It was a separate team too.
Yeah, it was Treyarch.
So so this is Sledgehammer's year. They did Advanced Warfare, which was one of the games I reinstalled when I put that hard drive in my PS4.
That's a good game.
Still people playing that. I was very excited.
Cool.
This I don't really know one way or the other on this one. I had heard some vague stuff about this year's game from someone a while ago, but really the gist of what it boiled down to, what I was being told was, it's what you think it is. And I was like, well, when I think of what I want Sledgehammer's next game to be, it's a sequel to Advanced Warfare that brings all that cool shit back. But now that I think about it in light of this, like, oh, maybe that means this. But fucking, I don't know. That's hard to. I don't really know one way or the other. This checks out in terms of when you think about where the franchise is and where interest in the franchise is and what the most vocal members of their fan base claim to want. And then you tie, I mean, obviously they would have had to have been working on this for a pretty long time now, but you tie in the success of Battlefield 1 and people's desire for a historical shooter maybe being higher than I would have maybe guessed. This all starts to kind of at least make you could build a business case around this.
It's definitely plausible.
See them doing this.
It's definitely plausible. It's just that we don't have any like actual confirmation.
Yeah, I bet this is right. If I had to guess, I'd say this is probably what it's going to be. But I don't really know.
This story I've got in front of me, I think I pulled it from Games Radar. But they mentioned that Activision said that Call of Duty would go back to its roots last month. Was that part of like an earnings call or something?
There is a quote out there from them.
That sounds as telling as it could be. Like, what else could that mean, right?
That could mean Modern Warfare. I mean, that could mean stripping the gameplay, getting rid of all the near future stuff, and just going back to guns and kill streaks and perks, like a la Call of Duty 4.
Sure.
So, like, even that is still a little ambiguous because of how weird Call of Duty has gotten over the last few years.
That's fair.
But this makes a lot of sense. I could see this being the right time for them to try it.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not that interested in that approach, but I liked this team's last game quite a lot. So, let's see.
Sure. It's better than getting a little more spacey every year.
Yeah, if you're getting a little more Kevin Spacey, the star of Advanced Warfare, then maybe.
Yes.
But
sure.
You want to talk about hard problems to solve in video games? It's what do you do with Call of Duty in this day and age? Other than let it slowly kind of peter out.
Because the current course was not clearly not doing it for the fan base.
I have no fucking idea. So yes. Why not? World War II. Sure. Figured. Go back to that. See what people say about that.
Yeah.
I suspect in the end that it won't be that different than if they had done some other future-y type stuff that was maybe a little more palatable than the straight up space of Infinite Warfare. I don't know. I don't know that. I just don't know how much, like, how wide the fluctuation between really great Call of Duty game and really mediocre Call of Duty game is anymore.
Yeah.
If it's really just the same people buying it every year and the number of people that would come back, I wonder if it's enough to make a dent or to matter.
It must be fair to say that like Call of Duty owes at least part of its success to like Saving Private Ryan, right? It's like the iconic D-Day.
Yeah.
Like the game was amazing in its own right, but the part where like whatever the cultural zeitgeist, the World War II is in.
Yeah, like definitely Medal of Honor and all that stuff was happening around the same time.
Actually Allied Assault and stuff. Wasn't
Spielberg behind Medal of Honor?
Yeah, he was.
It was like a direct connection.
Yeah, because it was the studio and everything. Right. But I don't feel like World War II has like made the kind of cultural. There's been movies like Fury and stuff like that, but I don't know that I don't know.
There's no other World War II thing to hang a game on now the same way there was then.
Like it's been a long time since Band of Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is still the blueprint for a lot of this stuff. Like, just like Generation Kill was like led to like Modern Warfare 2 and like a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see why that stuff is like a little too, it's just like too close to the kind of the fantasy of it isn't quite there, right? It's like it's either like too close to home, or it's just kind of like I feel kind of fatigued.
It can be a little exhausting.
Yeah. So I don't know that, and that's why I thought like with Battlefield 1, it's like it's kind of interesting. It's enough of like kind of a twist on it. It's like, well, we haven't seen big ass Zeppelins on fire in a while, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas World War II, I don't know. That's.
It is what I think. I think it's the easiest move for them because it is what that fan base is starting to state that it wants this game. So
I'll be really interested to see kind of what they do with the story and the campaign and stuff, basically, because I feel like there has to be some sort of like twist on there. It can't just be like you're a Russian whatever like private guy or whatever, and it's the.
If you think about how their campaigns have gone in terms of just like we're gonna get some celebrities in here and do some other stuff, like they could just build a one-off connected story. It doesn't necessarily have to intersect with every single great big battle of World War II to succeed. So like if you think about what those campaigns have been, like it's been Hollywood for years now.
Yeah,
so.
That's why I wonder what something like just the more like character driven story or whatever. Yeah. Which these games like Brothers not I was going to say Brothers in Arms, but I meant the Dice one, Battlefield. What's the squad-based one?
Bad Company?
Yeah, Bad Company.
Bad Company. Yeah. Well, shit, man. They should just make another Bad Company.
Bad Company is a very different
We're talking
thing.
about games that should happen. It's a Bad Company.
I don't know the Bad Company. Well, maybe. So I don't know. The Bad Company and World War II are very compatible.
I'm not saying World War II.
Tone-wise.
I think you could do Bad Around the World.
Yeah,
Bad
I guess
Company,
so.
just like
and honestly, I mean,
anytime.
whatever. Like things like Hogan's Heroes exist.
Yeah.
So like irreverent company of knuckleheads in World War II totally could be a thing.
Yeah. Maybe not the right time in current history for funny Nazis.
But there was.
I actually wonder, and I mean this in like a more broader geopolitical sense, that as things are maybe getting a little more tense and uncertain around the world, if there is less of a willingness for major companies to set games like this in the modern day or the near future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think
it's much safer to go back to like World War I or II.
I think
than it is to like try to predict where things are going in the world currently.
Yes, the near future stuff. Like keep in mind, like when they started doing Black Ops 2, like they sat us down with like they had talked to futurists about the future of warfare. Yeah. Like I went to an event for Black Ops 2 where they like gave everybody a book. It was like, here's this like PW6, whoever it was, like here's this book about drones and how automated combat's going to work and how the real conflict is going to be about minerals, about all these like rare earth minerals and all this other stuff. Like that was the real story of Black Ops 2, even if it wasn't always reflected in the game. Like that was what they were trying to evoke. Right. And they very much were like, oh yeah, this is like kind of ripped from not the headlines, but from what we think the next headlines will be.
Have you ever heard of coltan?
Yeah, and at that point you were like, oh, that's really fascinating. Like the future of warfare is something that I'm personally interested in. And then suddenly, like as the last few years have played out, like I am way less interested in that shit because it's like now a lot of it is kind of happening. Not quite that way, but in a fucked up enough way. We're like, man, this is.
It's the part where it's not. It's a little like too close to home at a certain point where the part where it's just kind of like fantastical and exciting goes away, and it's. It's just kind of.
I'm surprised, and well, I don't know. Surprised maybe is the word, but like that there hasn't just been a straight up drone game of like you're playing a person. You are playing the role of a person sitting in a quiet room in Vegas,
dude. Yeah,
and
like how has
there was that game? I don't remember its name. I think there's a game that's like exactly what you're describing, but I don't remember its name right now.
Or at least that mission, like one mission, because that's basically the C-130 from Call of Duty 4 mission of the modern era is guy
and Call of Duty has done that.
Yeah, like guy in an air-conditioned trailer in Nevada.
Right.
Like controlling a thing halfway around the world or whatever.
But in terms
there
of...
have been movies, I'm not sure. There have been a few movies about the drone warfare. Maybe that's what...
like at some point, like that's not... I don't know. Like
not exactly rainbows and
well, that's the thing. It's like going back to World War II almost feels like a security blanket at some point. This is an easy conflict to sell.
No one is arguing about the most people are not arguing about the outcome of World War II. It's a pretty safe war to be like, hey, these are the fucking bad guys. stab them.
and just easy to dramatize in
Yeah.
a general sense, you know.
Yeah.
So
When will we?
will see.
When will we know more?
I mean, when do they usually announce?
They've got
Before E3? Usually before
NBA
E3,
finals.
right?
You will
Okay.
Yeah.
like that's during the NBA finals. They will
Okay.
often have a commercial that airs somewhere around then, somewhere in the playoffs.
Although if these leaks are legit, who knows if that moves things up? It seems like it certainly.
And
did for
I
Destiny.
think last year they changed a lot of their announcement timetables to
Yeah.
how they had been in the past. So
because like this
know.
Destiny got announced on their Twitter feed like days after this leak happened. So,
Right.
so maybe something will happen sooner than later with Call of Duty.
yeah, I don't know.